Today, on the Hamster running wheel, we dive into the true cost of chasing the world's most coveted records and the invisible dangers lurking on the course. We begin in 1984 with the iconic, heartbreaking story of Mary Decker Slaney. She was America's running sweetheart, setting 17 world records, but her story became a caution. A lesson about betrayal, not by a rival, but by a catastrophic fall followed by a body that was perpetually breaking down. Over 30 surgeries by the time she retired. What is the emotional and physical toll of being a benchmark? Then we move from the track to the road to a different kind of speed and pressure. You know the headlines. Records are falling faster than ever. Just recently, courses like the Valencia Marathon, right here in Europe, have cemented their status as the home of unprecedented marathon speed. But in the pursuit of those minutes and seconds, runners face risks that are completely invisible. We're not talking about twisted ankles or hamstring pulls. We're talking about the unseen dangers, specifically the seemingly harmless habit of popping ibuprofen or other anti-inflammatories to finish the job. It's a risk that can lead to acute kidney damage or worse, and a hidden battle with your own physiology. Mary Decker lost a gold medal in a single televised moment, but for today's endurance athletes, the ultimate failure can be slow, silent, and irreversible. Join us as we pull back the curtain on the sacrifices, the incredible feats, and the hidden physiological crises of the distance running world. This is the Hamster running wheel when the unexpected happens. From the outset, Mary's story was one of promise. Born August 4th, 1958, she emerged into the US distance running scene as Mary Decker. At her peak, she set 17 official and unofficial world records from 800 meters to 10,000 and held, at one point, every American record at those distances. And yet, her body began failing her. Stress fractures, surgeries, recurring injuries, all of which combined cut short her career. Now she lives on the outskirts of Eugene, Oregon, a city often called Tracktown, USA, ironically the home of the athlete who now can't truly run. A couple of times a week, she manages a painful jog along the trails that once carried her to world records. But, as she says, it's not the same as running. In a perfect world, of course, she'd be out there even today running marathons, and she would have had a longer competitive career. But life had other plans. Mary's breakout moment came in the early 1980s. At the inaugural 1983 World Championships in Athletics in Helsinki, she captured gold in both the 1,500 meters and the 3,000 meters, what became known as the Decker Double. In 1985 in Zurich, she lowered the mile world record to 4 minutes 16.71 seconds. She seemed bulletproof. But then came one of the most unforgettable moments in athletics, the 3,000 meter final at the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Mary, heavily favoured, was running strong. She was sure her main competition would come from Russia or Soviet Eastern Europe, but with about 3 laps to go, she and Zola Budd bumped legs. Mary went down. She watched from the infield as the race she dreamed of slipped away. She calls it my most memorable race. What took place is Olympic history, and indeed it is. In the aftermath, she couldn't bear to watch the footage or look at photos for years. The fall haunted her physically and emotionally. But Mary didn't quit. By summer 1985, she was back on top form, smashing records again. She defeated Zola Budd in their rematch in London and set 6 American records at 5 distances that season. Her attitude: every time I got onto the track, I wanted to prove I was the best. She married Richard Slaney, a British discus thrower, in January the 1st, 1985, and in 1986 gave birth to their daughter Ashley, but the injuries never really let up. She often pushed the pace, morning workouts included, sometimes too hard for her fragile legs. By the late 1980s and into the 1990s, her body was breaking down. She competed at the 1988 Olympics with disappointing results, and injuries sidelined much of her 8 years. By the time of the 1996 Olympics, she had undergone more than 30 surgeries. If 1984 was a bad year with the clash with Zola Budd, if anything, 1997 was worse. A urine test from the 1996 Olympic trials indicated a high testosterone ratio. She was banned retroactively, stripped of a 1997 World Silver Medal, and the episode remains controversial to this day. In the late 1990s, she underwent surgery on both feet in the hopes of coming back and training longer. Instead, the surgeries left her more vulnerable to stress fractures. 6 since then. She never raced again. She spends her time rebuilding a home, quilting, being a warm, loyal friend and hostess, the athletes' medals and covers mostly packed away. In a way, she did win an Olympic medal, not in gold or silver, but in the hearts of those she inspired. Mary's story is more than wins and records. It's about being given strong wings and then finding out the winds still will sometimes betray you. It's about the glare of the spotlight and the long lull of the comeback. It's about one of the greatest American women middle long distance runners ever, and the price she paid for greatness. Her name is a benchmark, her fall a caution, her perseverance a lesson. So next time you lace up your running shoes or watch a race, just take a few seconds to think of Mary Decker Slaney, what she did, what she lost, and why she still matters. Every great race has a beginning, and the Valencia Marathon story starts way back in 1981. It was initially conceived by a local running club, the Corre Caminos, or Roadrunners. Their vision? To bring the exhilarating challenge of a marathon to the streets of Valencia. You can imagine the very first editions were much smaller, with just a few hundred passionate runners taking on the 42 kilometres. It was a grassroots effort driven by the pure love of running. Over the decades, the race steadily grew in popularity, attracting more and more local and national participants. But what truly transformed it into a global phenomenon was the strategic partnership formed with the Trinidad Alfonso Foundation. This collaboration, starting in 2011, provided the financial backing and organisational expertise needed to elevate the event to an international standard. So, how did a relatively modest race become one of the fastest and most sought-after marathons in the world? Several factors played a crucial role. First, Valencia itself is a stunning city. The course is flat, fast, and takes runners through picturesque routes, past architectural marvels like the City of Arts and Sciences, and along the beautiful Juria Gardens. The scenic beauty, combined with typically mild November weather, creates ideal conditions for personal bests. Second, the organisation is top-notch. From efficient registration to abundant aid stations and passionate crowd support, every detail is meticulously planned. And of course, the pursuit of speed. Valencia has become a mecca for elite runners aiming for fast times. The race has consistently produced incredible performances, attracting a calibre of athlete that further enhances its reputation. The Valencia Marathon has seen some truly phenomenal athletes grace its start line. While it might not have the century-long history of, say, Boston, it has quickly established itself as a place where records are broken and champions are crowned. In recent years, we've seen incredible depth in the elite fields. For instance, in 2022, Kelvin Kiptum set a course record with an astonishing time of 2 hours, 1 second and 59, making it the third fastest marathon in history at the time. Countless other elite athletes have chosen Valencia to test their limits and achieve their personal bests, solidifying its reputation as a world-class event. Now, let's talk about last year, the 2024 event, which for many, including myself by the way, was an unforgettable experience for reasons beyond personal bests. Just weeks before the race, Valencia and the surrounding region were hit by devastating floods. The scale of the disaster was immense, causing widespread damage, disrupting infrastructure, and leading to significant loss. For a moment, it felt like the marathon, a symbol of hope and community, might well have to be cancelled. The race organisers, in conjunction with local authorities and countless volunteers, faced an unprecedented challenge. Roads were damaged, access points were compromised, and the city was reeling. However, the spirit of Valencia shone through. The decision was made to press ahead, not just for the economic benefits, but as a statement of resilience and a way to bring the community together in time of need. There was an incredible mobilization effort. Volunteers worked tirelessly to clear debris, repair damaged sections of the course, and ensure the safety of all participants. The city pulled together, demonstrating an inspiring determination to host the event. Runners too showed their support. with many arriving early to assist in cleanup efforts or simply offering words of encouragement. The atmosphere on race day was truly unique, a mix of nervous excitement and profound gratitude. The 2024 Valencia Marathon offered powerful lessons, not just for the race organisers, but for all of us. The immediate and effective response to the flooding by the organisers, city officials, and volunteers was a masterclass in crisis management. It showed that with determination and community spirit, even major setbacks can be overcome. The shared experience of preparing for the race amidst the recovery efforts forged a strong bond between runners, volunteers, and the city of Valencia. It highlighted how events like marathons can be powerful unifying forces. For many runners, myself included, the challenges leading up to the race put the run itself into perspective. Crossing that finish line felt less about a personal time and more about celebrating resilience, community, and the simple act of being able to participate. While we can't predict natural disasters, the event served as a reminder for runners to stay informed about race conditions and for race organisers to have robust contingency plans in place. So, in summary, the Valencia Marathon Trinidad Alfonso is more than just a race. It's an experience, a celebration of running, a showcase for a beautiful city, and as we saw in 2024, a testament to the incredible spirit of a community that can overcome adversity. If you're looking for a fast course, incredible support, and a truly memorable experience, Valencia should definitely be on your marathon bucket list. In the final stretch of our podcast, let's turn our attention to a topic that's critical for every runner's health: the widespread yet often misunderstood dangers of using over-the-counter pain relievers like ibuprofen, a type of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug or NSAID, before or during a long-distance race. It's a common ritual, popping a pill before the starting gun to preemptively manage that inevitable ache or pain. But a growing body of medical evidence and advice from major running events like London Marathon here in Europe strongly urges runners to stop the practice. Why? Because when you mix NSAIDs with the extreme physiological stress of a marathon, you create a recipe for potential medical trouble. Taking an NSAID during a marathon creates a triple threat to three vital systems. Firstly, danger to the kidneys, an acute kidney injury. This is definitely the most serious concern. Running a marathon, especially in heat or with dehydration, already puts stress on your kidneys by temporarily reducing blood flow. Ibuprofen works by blocking compounds that help regulate this blood flow. So when you combine the reduced flow from running with the blood flow restricting effect of ibuprofen, you can severely overtax your kidneys, potentially leading to acute kidney injury. In studies of marathon and ultramarathon runners, those who took ibuprofen pre-race were found to have a significantly higher risk of experiencing kidney issues. Secondly, danger to the gut, gastrointestinal issues. The sheer physical act of running long distances can cause stomach upset, which is why we talk so much about race day nutrition. NSAIDs make this worse. They can irritate the lining of the stomach and intestine, which, combined with the way your body shunts blood away from your gut and towards your working muscles during a race, dramatically increases the symptoms like nausea, cramping, and, in severe cases, gastrointestinal bleeding. Thirdly, danger to electrolyte balance. NSAIDs can indirectly affect your body's ability to manage water retention and sodium levels. One potentially life-threatening risk for marathon runners is dangerously low blood sodium. While often caused by overdrinking plain water, studies suggest that NSAIDs can be a contributing factor, further accelerating this dangerous drop in sodium concentration. Perhaps the biggest revelation from the research is this: the drugs don't even work to improve performance or reduce post-race soreness. Multiple scientific studies have shown that runners who took ibuprofen during a race did not experience less muscle damage, less pain, or better finishing times compared to those who took a placebo. What they did experience was a higher rate of adverse side effects. The pain you feel is your body's essential warning system, and by chemically masking it, you risk pushing through a minor injury and turning it into a major one. So, what's the takeaway? Avoid NSAIDs on race day. The best medical advice is to avoid all NSAIDs like ibuprofen, naproxen, and aspirin within 24 to 48 hours before and immediately after a marathon. A safer alternative, with caution, if you absolutely need pain relief, a different type of analgesic such as paracetamol is generally considered less risky for kidneys and stomach during a race, as it works differently. However, it still carries risks, especially to the liver, so its use should be minimal and carefully monitored. Listen to your body. If you are in so much pain that you need a strong painkiller to start a race, you should seriously reconsider running. The smartest training decision you can make is rest the injury and save your body for another day. In the end, the key to successful, healthy marathon experiences isn't masking the pain, it's respecting your body's limits, ensuring you're fully trained, and in making informed choices about what you put into your system. That's all the time we have for today in this episode of the Hamster Running Wheel. Thank you very much for joining us as we explored the physical and mental toll distance running can take, from the risks of race day ibuprofen to the long-term price paid by marathoners. The story of the elite runner often comes down to the inches. The inches lost in a fall like Mary Decker's, or the tiny unseen inches that separate legal performance from a banned one. But what happens when the lines aren't blurred by exhaustion or accident, but by design? Next time, we turn from the physical price of the sport to the ethical cost. We will dissect the most devastating doping scandal in American running history, built around coach Alberto Salazar and the Nike Oregon Project. We'll use the tradition of the Boston Marathon to measure the damage done to the sport's integrity. And finally, we'll ask the controversial question of our time: when technology and performance push the absolute limits of the human body, is the only honest step forward to embrace an event like the Enhanced Games? Join us next time for the Hamster Running Wheel.